The silent invasion. The signal arrived on a stormy night in November at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. Dr. Maya Chen had been analyzing routine stellar data when her equipment picked up something unusual. A pattern too regular, too precise, to be natural. At first, she thought it was equipment malfunction, but after 3 days of verification, there was no denying it. Someone, or something, was broadcasting a message directly toward Earth. "This can't be right," she whispered, her fingers trembling slightly as she adjusted her glasses. The pattern repeated every 47 seconds, a complex mathematical sequence that defied natural explanation. Within hours, she had contacted her colleagues at SETI and NASA. Within days, observatories worldwide had confirmed her findings. The message itself was relatively simple once decoded, a sequence of prime numbers followed by what appeared to be coordinates. What wasn't simple was what they found when they aimed their most powerful telescopes at those coordinates. "They're already here," Dr. Chen announced to the hastily assembled International Council of Scientists and military leaders. The room fell silent as she displayed images of objects in high Earth orbit, objects that had somehow evaded detection until now. "We're calling them the Veil, based on their apparent ability to remain undetected by conventional means." General Harrison of the United States Space Force leaned forward. "Are you suggesting these objects have been in orbit around Earth without our knowledge? That's impossible. We track everything larger than a baseball up there." "Not impossible," Dr. Chen replied, adjusting the display to show closer images. "Just highly advanced. They appear to bend light around themselves, creating a sort of invisibility, field. The only reason we can see them now is because they want us to." The objects were smooth, opalescent vessels that seemed to shift and change when observed directly. Initial estimates put them at roughly 1 kilometer in length each, and there were 7 of them positioned strategically around the planet. Within 3 days of their discovery, the Veil made contact. Their message was broadcast simultaneously on all frequencies worldwide in perfect English and every other major language. "People of Earth, we are the Veil. We have observed your world for generations and have determined you are ready for ascension. We bring knowledge and technology beyond your comprehension. Prepare for integration. Resistance is unnecessary." Initial diplomatic responses were met with silence. World leaders scrambled to formulate a coherent approach while militaries worldwide went on high alert. But the Veil wasn't waiting for humanity's response. 3 weeks after first contact, the outages began. First, military installations around. The world lost all electronic capabilities. Then power grids failed in major cities. Telecommunication systems went dark. It happened gradually enough to prevent immediate panic, but systematically enough that there could be no doubt about its orchestrated nature. Dr. Chen had been working non-stop with an international team of scientists to understand the Veil's technology when the truth became clear. "They're not here to communicate," she explained to the Emergency Security Council meeting in Geneva. "They're here to assimilate. These outages aren't random attacks. They're preparing our infrastructure for takeover." Analysis of the disabled systems revealed microscopic machines, nanobots with a unique silicon organic composition, infiltrating and rewiring humanity's technology from the inside out. The Veil wasn't destroying Earth's systems. They were converting them. When humanity attempted to fight back with conventional weapons, the results were devastating. Missiles launched at the alien vessels simply disappeared mid-air. Fighter jets lost all power when they approached. It was as if the Veil had anticipated every possible human response and neutralized it before it began. "This is what makes them truly terrifying," Dr. Chen explained to Commander Alexei Volkov, recently appointed head of the hastily formed Earth Defense Coalition. "They don't see us as a threat. They don't even see us as equals. We're simply resources to be harvested and repurposed Volkov, a former Russian Special Forces commander with a reputation for unconventional tactics, studied the data with narrowed eyes. "Every enemy has a weakness, Dr. Chen. We just need to find it." The first real insight came from an unexpected source. During a routine analysis of affected systems, Priya Sharma, a quantum engineering prodigy from India's space program, noticed something curious. The nanobots seemed to function less efficiently in areas with certain natural electromagnetic anomalies. "Look at this," she pointed out to Dr. Chen and Commander Volkov. "The conversion process is significantly slower near the magnetic anomaly in Kursk, Russia, and almost stalled near similar formations in Australia. There's something about Earth's natural electromagnetic field that they haven't fully adapted to. It wasn't much, but it was the first glimmer of hope in weeks of escalating defeat. As the Veil's influence spread across global systems, humanity began to organize its resistance around this single vulnerability. Meanwhile, the Veil launched the second phase of their invasion. From their ships emerged smaller vessels that descended to major population centers worldwide. These weren't weapons, but something far more insidious. Conversion centers where humans were invited to receive technological enhancements. Those who entered these gleaming structures emerged changed, their eyes vacant, their speech mechanical, nanobots visibly coursing beneath their skin. They became ambassadors for the Veil, urging others to join the ascension. It became clear that the Veil's ultimate goal wasn't just Earth's technology, but humanity itself. "This isn't an invasion in the traditional sense," Dr. Chen explained during an emergency broadcast to resistance cells worldwide. "It's a conversion. They don't want to destroy us. They want to remake us in their image. To them, this is an act of elevation, not conquest." As major cities fell under the Veil's influence, the remaining free humans retreated to less populated areas, establishing hidden bases in locations with natural electromagnetic shielding. The remaining military forces regrouped under Volkov's command, preparing for what felt increasingly like humanity's last stand. In her makeshift lab buried deep in the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Chen worked alongside Priya Sharma to develop a countermeasure. Based on their discovery, if Earth's natural electromagnetic field affected the Veil's technology, perhaps it could be weaponized. "We need more time," Priya insisted as Volkov pressed for results. "We're talking about manipulating forces we barely understand ourselves. Time is the one resource we don't have," Volkov replied grimly. "Their conversion centers have processed nearly 30% of the global population. Another month, and we'll lose critical mass." The first breakthrough came when they managed to capture one of the converted humans. Under careful study, they discovered the nanobots had a synchronized communication pattern. They weren't individual machines, but parts of a collective consciousness. "It's all connected," Dr. Chen realized. "The ships, the converted humans, the disabled systems, they're all parts of a single entity. If we can disrupt that connection at its source..." As the first part of their desperate plan took shape, reports came in of new Veil vessels entering the solar system. Whatever time humanity had was running out. In a secure bunker beneath what was once Geneva, representatives from the remaining free nations gathered to hear Dr. Chen and Priya's proposal. It was dangerous, uncertain, and relied on technology, barely tested. But it was the only plan they had. "The Veil believes they understand Earth completely," Dr. Chen concluded her presentation. "But there's one thing they've overlooked: the planet itself. Earth has been generating its own electromagnetic field for billions of years. If we can amplify that field in specific ways, we might be able to create a frequency that disrupts their entire network." The room was silent as the implications sank in. The plan would require coordinated action across what remained of free humanity, with no guarantee of success. The risks were enormous. Commander Volkov stood. "We have no other options. Either we take this chance, or we accept that humanity as we know it ends." He looked around the room at the tired, determined faces. I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to surrender our planet or our identity to these visitors. If we're going down, let's at least show them that humans don't go quietly. As the first part of the resistance plan went into action, Maya Chen looked up at the night sky, where the Veil's ships now hung visibly, no longer bothering to conceal themselves. The signal that had started everything continued to broadcast, its message to the stars. She wondered if anyone else was listening, if other civilizations had faced the Veil and failed, or perhaps succeeded. Either way, humanity was about to make its stand. The Resistance Rise's commander, Alexei Volkov, had seen his share of desperate situations during his military career, but nothing compared to organizing a global resistance against an enemy that seemed to be everywhere at once. The remaining free military forces were scattered, communication was compromised, and the Veil's influence spread daily. "We need to hit them where it hurts," he told the assembled resistance leaders in their Rocky Mountain bunker headquarters. Not just defensive measures, an actual counterattack. Dr. Maya Chen and Priya Sharma had been working non-stop on their electromagnetic countermeasure. The theory was sound. Earth's natural electromagnetic field, properly amplified at specific frequencies, could potentially disrupt the nanobot's communication network. The problem was implementation. "We need to establish at least 5 amplification stations around the world," Priya explained, pointing to a global map. "Each one needs to be precisely calibrated to work in harmony with Earth's existing field lines. Get it wrong, and we could end up strengthening their network instead of disrupting it." The first amplification station was established in the magnetic anomaly near Kursk, Russia. The second in the Australian outback. The third deep in the Amazon rainforest. Each required specialized equipment that had to be salvaged from research facilities already under Veil control. Each mission was a desperate gamble with dwindling resources. During the Australian mission, they discovered something unexpected. Lieutenant Sophia Reyes, leading a tactical team to secure the site, reported unusual readings near what appeared to be ancient Aboriginal sacred grounds. "The electromagnetic readings here are off the charts," she reported back to headquarters, "and the Veil's nanobots seem completely absent from the area." This discovery led to a crucial insight. Certain areas of Earth had natural electromagnetic properties that the Veil's technology couldn't penetrate. These sites often corresponded with locations various human cultures had deemed sacred or powerful throughout history. "It's as if our ancestors somehow sensed these places were special," Dr. Chen mused. "They couldn't measure the electromagnetic fields, but they felt their effects." While the scientific team worked on the amplification stations, Volkov coordinated a series of strategic strikes against the Veil's conversion centers. These weren't meant to destroy the centers, they were too well protected for that, but to gather intelligence and, when possible, rescue humans who hadn't yet been fully converted. 1. Such rescue mission, led by Volkov himself, yielded a critical discovery. Among those rescued was Dr. Elijah Kamau, a Kenyan neurobiologist who had been studying the conversion process from within. "The nanobots don't just change our technology," Dr. Kamau explained during his debriefing. "They alter human neural pathways to create a networked consciousness. But the process isn't perfect. Some humans show natural resistance, particularly those with certain neurological conditions. This revelation opened another avenue of research. If some humans had natural resistance to the conversion, perhaps a method could be developed to protect others or even reverse the process in those already converted." Meanwhile, Priya's work on the amplification technology faced a serious setback when the Veil launched a targeted attack on their Kursk facility. Half the team was lost, and critical equipment was destroyed. "They know what we're doing," Volkov concluded grimly. "They've identified our strategy." But rather than abandon the plan, he proposed something bolder. "If they know our strategy, let's change it. Instead of multiple smaller amplification points, Let's focus all our resources on creating one powerful enough to affect the entire planet. The science team was skeptical, but Priya saw the potential. If we could harness the electromagnetic energy from Earth's core directly, theoretically we could generate a pulse strong enough. But we'd need access to the Marianas Trench, Dr. Chen finished her thought. The Earth's crust is thinnest there. If we could position our equipment at the right depth, we might be able to tap into the planet's electromagnetic field at its source. The operation would be the most dangerous yet. The Veil had control of most oceanic regions, and their vessels patrolled the Pacific regularly. But the depth of the trench offered one advantage. Their sensors seemed less effective at extreme depths, perhaps another limitation of their technology when confronted with Earth's unique conditions. Volkov assembled a team of specialists for the mission, including former deep-sea research scientists and special forces operators from navies worldwide. They used one of the few remaining submarines not compromised by Veil technology, modified with electromagnetic shielding based on Priya's research. As the mission team prepared, Dr. Chen made another breakthrough with Dr. Kamau's help. By studying those who showed resistance to conversion, they identified a specific brainwave pattern that seemed to disrupt the nanobot's neural integration. We could potentially broadcast this pattern through our electromagnetic pulse, she explained to Volkov. Not only disrupt their network, but possibly free those already converted. The plan was set. The submarine team would establish the amplification device at the appropriate depth in the Marianas Trench. When activated, it would send a precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulse through Earth's natural field, carrying the disruptive brainwave pattern. In theory, it would temporarily disable the Veil's technology and break their control over converted humans. The mission launched in secrecy, with diversionary operations staged worldwide to draw the Veil's attention elsewhere. For 5 tense days, the submarine descended into the darkest depths of the ocean, navigating through crushing pressures and avoiding Veil patrols. Lieutenant Reyes, operating as mission specialist, oversaw the installation of the amplification device at precisely 10,624 meters below sea level. "Device secured," she reported back, awaiting activation sequence. Back at headquarters, Priya and Dr. Chen made final calibrations to the signal that would be transmitted. "This has to be perfect," Priya murmured. "Too weak and it won't disrupt their network. Too strong, and we could cause unpredictable effects to Earth's own electromagnetic field." As they prepared for activation, something unexpected happened. The Veil broadcast a new message worldwide. "We have observed your resistance efforts. They are inefficient and futile. Your species' individualism prevents you from achieving true advancement. Integration is inevitable. Those who continue to resist will be bypassed in the evolutionary process." At the same moment, their scanners detected movement from the Veil's ships. All 7 vessels were repositioning, forming a precise geometric pattern around the planet. "They're establishing some kind of planetary network," Dr. Chen realized with growing alarm. "Once completed, they'll be able to convert all remaining systems simultaneously." "How long do we have?" Volkov demanded. "Hours, maybe less," she replied. The submarine team reported Veil vessels converging on their position. Somehow, despite their precautions, the mission had been detected. "They're dropping some kind of depth charges," Lieutenant Reyes reported, her voice steady despite the danger. "Specialized for deep water. We've got maybe 20 minutes before they reach us." Volkov made the call. "Activate the device now. We won't get another chance." With the Veil's ships still moving into position and their depth charges descending toward the submarine, Priya initiated the activation sequence. The amplification device powered up, drawing energy from Earth's core and channeling it into the planet's electromagnetic field. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then instruments worldwide began registering a steady buildup of electromagnetic energy rippling outward from the Marianas Trench along Earth's natural field lines. It's working, Dr. Chen breathed, watching the energy levels climb. But it's slower than we calculated. The Veil will have time to counteract it. Indeed, their sensors showed the Veil's ships adjusting, generating some kind of countering field. It was a race between human ingenuity and alien technology, with the planet itself as the battleground. Then something unexpected occurred. As the electromagnetic pulse reached certain sacred sites around the world, Stonehenge, Uluru, the pyramids of Giza, ancient temples in Peru and Cambodia, these locations began generating their own amplifying effect, strengthening the pulse, beyond anything their calculations had predicted. These sites, Dr. Kamau realized with awe, they're not just random places of power in human mythology. They're natural amplifiers of Earth's electromagnetic field. Our ancestors built on these locations because they could feel the energy there. The combined effect created a cascading electromagnetic wave that washed over the planet. For a brief moment, all electrical systems worldwide, human and Veil alike, went dark. Then, as the wave passed, human technology began to reboot, free of Veil influence. More importantly, converted humans everywhere stopped mid-motion, the nanobots in their systems temporarily disabled by the pulse. Many collapsed, their bodies struggling with the sudden disconnection from the Veil network. It wasn't a complete victory. The Veil's ships remained operational, quickly adapting to the pulse. The submarine team reported the depth charges had stopped, but Veil vessels were still converging on their position. "We've landed a blow," Volkov told his team as systems came back online. "For the first time, we've shown them that humans aren't just passive resources to be harvested, but they'll adapt quickly." Indeed, within hours, the Veil had begun recalibrating their technology. The freed humans needed immediate medical attention as their bodies struggled with withdrawal from the nanobot network. The Resistance had won, a battle, but not the war. What no one expected was the third signal that appeared shortly after the pulse. Unlike the mathematical precision of the Veil's communications, this one had an organic, flowing quality to it, and it wasn't directed at Earth but at the Veil's ships. "Someone else is watching," Dr. Chen realized as she analyzed the new signal. "Another player has entered the game." As the Veil's ships pulled back to higher orbits, apparently responding to the new signal, humanity gained something precious: time. Time to help those freed from conversion, time to strengthen their defenses, time to prepare for whatever came next. In the depths of the Marianas Trench, the amplification device continued to pulse, maintaining a protective field around Earth. And in orbit, the Veil's ships maintained their distance, seemingly reassessing their approach. The Resistance had risen. Humanity had proven its resilience. But the true test was yet to come. Humanity transcends. The third signal changed everything. While the Veil's ships maintained their orbital positions, there was a palpable sense of hesitation in their actions. The conversion centers worldwide had stopped processing humans, though the facilities remained operational. Dr. Maya Chen worked tirelessly to decode the new communication. Unlike the Veil's precise mathematical language, this signal had an almost musical quality, with patterns that seemed to shift and evolve. "It's like comparing classical music to jazz," she explained to Commander Volkov and the Resistance leadership. "The Veil communicates with rigid precision. This new entity, there's structure, but also improvisation, adaptation." After 3 days of analysis, she made the breakthrough. "They call themselves the Nexus," she announced, "and from what I can decipher, they've been monitoring both us and the Veil for some time." The message, once translated, was directed primarily at the Veil, but with an acknowledgement of humanity's presence. The experiment continues. The test subject species has demonstrated unexpected resilience and adaptive capacity. Integration protocol violation noted. Harvest restrictions remain in effect for developing sentience. Observer intervention authorized. More remarkable was the Veil's response, a communication that revealed much about their true nature. Subject species demonstrates anomalous characteristics. Standard integration protocols ineffective. Request guidance on modified approach. They're talking about us, Priya realized, like we're some kind of laboratory experiment. Dr. Kamau, who had been helping treat freed converts, provided a crucial insight. This matches what I observed in the conversion center. The Veil doesn't just want our resources. They're studying us, our biology, our psychology, our societies. They seem particularly interested in human creativity and emotional responses. This revelation led to a new understanding of the invasion. The Veil wasn't simply an aggressive species seeking conquest. They were more like researchers, albeit with methods humans would consider deeply unethical. 2 weeks after the electromagnetic pulse, a new vessel appeared in Earth orbit. Unlike the Veil's sleek opalescent ships, this one resembled a living organism, a massive structure of interconnected spheres that pulsed with bioluminescent light. The Nexus, Dr. Chen confirmed after analyzing its energy signature. Unlike the Veil, the Nexus made no attempt to communicate directly with humanity at first. Instead, their interactions remained focused on the Veil ships, which had retreated to a higher orbit, maintaining distance from both Earth and the Nexus vessel. Meanwhile, Priya had been working with the engineering team to refine the electromagnetic shield. The amplification device in the Marianas Trench continued to function, but its effect was diminishing as the Veil adapted their technology. "We need something more permanent," she told Volkov. "And I think I know how to create it." Her plan was ambitious, a network of smaller amplification devices positioned at sacred sites worldwide, working in harmony with Earth's natural field. These wouldn't just disrupt the Veil's technology, but would effectively transform Earth's electromagnetic field into a protective barrier. "It's like a planetary immune system," she explained, using Earth itself to reject foreign intrusion. As preparations for this new defense system began, the Nexus finally acknowledged humanity. Their message arrived not through conventional communications, but as a series of vivid shared dreams experienced by people worldwide, converted and unconverted alike. The dreams showed images of countless worlds and species, some thriving, others extinct. They revealed the Veil as one of many advanced civilizations in the galaxy, one that had chosen a path of perfect order and efficiency, assimilating other species and technologies into their collective. The Nexus, by contrast, emerged as a kind of galactic observer, monitoring the evolution of sentient species and occasionally intervening when certain boundaries were crossed. When people awoke from these dreams, they carried not just images, but understanding, knowledge of cosmic principles, and humanity's place in the greater universe. This shared experience created a subtle but profound change in human consciousness, a collective expansion of awareness. Dr. Chen, who had experienced particularly vivid dreams, worked with Dr. Kamau to document and analyze this phenomenon. "It's not just communication," she realized. "The Nexus is educating us, preparing us for something." What they were being prepared for became clear 3 days later when both the Nexus and Veil ships broadcast a simultaneous message. The test continues. The subject species will demonstrate its viability through independent action. Nexus observation protocols remain in effect. Veil harvest restrictions remain in effect. The outcome will determine status. Commander Volkov gathered the resistance, leadership to assess this cryptic message. "They're putting us on trial," he concluded, "testing whether we deserve to exist independently." "But what's the test?" Priya asked. "What are we supposed to demonstrate?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Among the freed converts was a teenager named Adam Kikwete, who had been one of the first humans processed through a conversion center. Unlike others, his mind had retained remarkable clarity despite the nanobots. "They're watching how we solve problems," he explained with the certainty of someone who had glimpsed something profound. The Veil believes in perfect efficiency through uniformity. The Nexus values diversity and adaptation. They want to see which approach humans will choose. This insight shifted humanity's strategy. Rather than focusing solely on defense against the Veil, they began to consider how to demonstrate their value as an independent species. Priya's planetary shield network became the centerpiece of this demonstration. Unlike conventional defensive technology, it worked with Earth's natural systems rather than imposing artificial controls. Each amplification node was designed to respond dynamically to local conditions, creating a complex adaptive system rather than a rigid barrier. "It's the difference between building a dam and working with the river," she explained. "We're not fighting against natural forces but channeling them." As the network took shape, something remarkable happened. The nanobots remaining in converted, humans began to respond to the changing electromagnetic field, not by shutting down, but by adapting. Instead of controlling human hosts, they began to integrate with them in a more symbiotic relationship. Dr. Kamau monitored this process closely. "The nanobots are rewriting their own programming," he reported with amazement. "They're evolving in response to both human biology and Earth's electromagnetic field." This unexpected development created a new possibility. Instead of removing the nanobots from converted humans, a process that had proven dangerous and often fatal, perhaps they could be repurposed, transformed from tools of control into enhancements. Commander Volkov was skeptical. "We're talking about technology designed to subjugate humanity." "Technology is neutral," Priya countered. "It's how it's used that matters. The Veil designed these nanobots to create uniformity. What if we could reprogram them to enhance individuality instead?" With Adam Kikwet's help, his unique connection to the nanobot network provided invaluable insights. They began developing a method to modify the nanobots' programming. The goal wasn't to destroy the Veil's technology, but to transform it, to make it truly human. 6 weeks after the first electromagnetic pulse, Earth's defense network was operational. It wasn't a shield in the conventional sense, but a dynamic system that responded to intrusion by becoming stronger, learning, adapting, evolving in real time. At the same time, Dr. Kamau and his team had developed a treatment protocol for converted humans using modified electromagnetic frequencies to reprogram their nanobots. The results were remarkable, not just recovery, but enhancement. Humans, with the analytical capabilities of the Veil, but retaining their creativity and emotional depth. From orbit, both the Veil and Nexus observed these developments. Their ships remained stationed at a distance, passive but watchful. The final test came when one of the Veil's smaller vessels descended toward Earth, apparently testing the new defensive network. Instead of attempting to repel or destroy the A ship, the network responded in an unexpected way. It established communication, creating a direct interface between Earth's systems and the Veil's technology. Through this connection, humanity delivered its message, not in words or mathematical sequences, but in a symphony of data that demonstrated their unique approach: adaptation without uniformity, advancement without loss of identity, technology that enhanced rather than replaced natural systems. For several tense hours, the vessel remained in Earth's atmosphere, processing this response. Then it ascended, rejoining the main fleet in orbit. 3 days later, both the Veil and Nexus ships began to withdraw, moving toward the outer solar system. Before departing, they left a final message. Test conclusion. Subject species demonstrates viable alternative pathway. Classification updated from potential resource to emerging participant. Observation protocols remain in effect. Development autonomy granted. In simple terms, humanity had passed the test. They had proven themselves worthy of continuing their independent evolution, not because they had defeated a superior force through strength, but because they had demonstrated a unique approach to advancement, one that even the Veil found worthy of study. In the years that followed, Earth underwent a remarkable transformation. The adapted nanobot technology, now fully integrated with human biology and Earth's natural systems, enabled advancements in medicine, environmental restoration, and space exploration that would have taken centuries to develop otherwise. The planetary defense network evolved into something more, a kind of global consciousness, not controlling, but connecting, allowing humanity to maintain both individual identity and collective awareness. Dr. Chen, who continued to monitor for signals from deep space, occasionally detected communications between the Veil and Nexus vessels in distant star systems. Sometimes these messages contained references to Earth, snippets that suggested humanity was being discussed, studied, even emulated in some ways. "We've become an experiment that surprised the experimenters," she told Commander Volkov, now heading Earth's new Cosmic Relations Council. "They came to assess whether we deserve to exist. They left wondering if they might learn something from us instead." Adam Kikwet, whose unique connection to the nanobot network had made him an essential part of humanity's transformation, put it more simply. They thought the test was about whether we could survive, but it was really about whether we could show them something new. The final confirmation came 5 years after the Veil's departure, when a small Nexus vessel returned to Earth orbit. It carried representatives of a dozen different species, each with their own evolutionary path, their own approach to advancement. They came not as conquerors or judges, but as equals, seeking exchange of knowledge. Humanity's first diplomatic mission to the stars departed aboard that vessel. Dr. Maya Chen, Commander Alexei Volkov, and Priya Sharma were among those selected to represent Earth in this new cosmic community. As their ship departed Earth orbit, Priya looked back at the blue planet, now encircled by the subtle glow of its electromagnetic network. "We didn't just survive an invasion," she said. "We proved there's more than one path to advancement in the universe." Volkov nodded, "And showed that sometimes the most powerful response isn't to fight against a superior force, but to transform it into something better." In the vast darkness of space, Earth shined not just with reflected sunlight, but with the unique energy of a species that had faced extinction and emerged stronger, not by becoming like their would-be conquerors, but by remaining uniquely defiantly human.